And showtime, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ChannelPro 5-Minute Roundup, a look at news, trends, and tips for the SMB channel in 5 minutes or thereabouts. My name is Rich Freeman. I'm executive editor of the ChannelPro Network and one of your hosts of this program. With me is my co-host, Eric Simpson, who is a consultant and a business improvement trainer for MSPs and other IT providers. Eric, how you doing this week?
I'm doing great, Rich. It's sunny outside, and we just got through a patch of heavy rain here in Southern California, but the weekend looks like it's going to turn out beautiful. How about on your neck of the woods?
Pretty much exactly the opposite. So I'm here in Seattle, and we're coming towards the end of a week of sunshine, which is a little bit unusual for us, and they're telling us it's going to rain all weekend long.
Sorry to hear that.
You've got better timing than I do. But let's dive into the news, shall we? And our story of the week concerns ConnectWise. Regular viewers will recall that during the IT Nation Connect event a few weeks back, Eric and I were talking about the security initiative that ConnectWise unveiled at that show. And it's a little bit different than some of their competitors. They're playing in the market, obviously, against companies like Kaseya, for example, that are creating a lot of security tools that they're looking for MSPs to sell to their SMB customers. ConnectWise has a somewhat different ambition. They want to be the hub that allows MSPs to manage all of the different security tools that they acquire from third parties. So they've got this multi-pronged security effort getting underway. They're going to create a tool that will provide that hub. They're creating a what they call an integration language, essentially a standard that third-party security software developers will be able to use to tap into that hub. And then they also need to create a market for cybersecurity solutions. And so a big part of what they're trying to do is train MSPs to provide cybersecurity services. So this week, long preamble here, ConnectWise has announced that they purchased a company called Ciena Group. And Ciena Group is a security services and training organization. ConnectWise is going to rename them the ConnectWise Security Center of Excellence, and essentially Ciena is going to become the in-house training and education arm for cybersecurity at ConnectWise. And they're going to go out and they're going to train MSPs on how to deliver security services, bundle them, price them, everything they need to know to be successful in the market so that they can then go out and take advantage of these unified third-party security solutions that they're also creating. So, you know, once again, around a year ago at this time, about 11 months or so ago at this time, kind of an unusual acquisition announcement from ConnectWise when they went out and bought HTG, which became an in-house education arm as well, and they've done a similar kind of thing again.
Yeah, Rich, I think ConnectWise is becoming Rome. The strategy is all roads lead back to ConnectWise/Rome. So again, I think just another step forward in achieving Arnie Bellini's strategy of being that central resource where all IT partners can get everything that they need to grow a successful practice, whether that's managed IT services, security services, the API integrations with all the different vendors' products, from backup to security to different software platforms. It's really hitting its stride as we continue to report on these additional acquisitions and additional strategic partnerships that ConnectWise is building.
And one of the best-known facts about the best-known fact about security is that demand is growing and growing very rapidly. But the other best-known fact about it is that the talent out there capable of meeting that demand is still relatively limited and not growing as quickly as it needs to. And so this is an example of ConnectWise. They're not the only companies thinking along these lines, but this is an example of them trying to do something to help close that gap.
Absolutely, and I think it's a very canny approach. I mean, when we can train you to build your practice and make more money and not make mistakes and be profitable, that's a very, very attractive opportunity for IT providers who, don't have the means or the wherewithal or the opportunities or the relationships to go out and get this kind of training, all on their own. So I think it's very attractive. The HTG acquisition, Sienna Group acquisition, it shows that, ConnectWise is playing, long-term strategy here, building the foundation of a very solid resource for partners.
Well, let's dive into your tip of the week here, which has to do with the relationship between inspection and expectation.
Well said, Rich. Yes, this week's tip of the week has everything to do with inspecting what you expect from staff, from strategic vendor partners, from any relationship that you rely on to build and grow your business. As you know, Rich, I work with a lot of IT providers in the industry, and the one thing that I always begin a strategic consultation review with is understanding the people, right? So as you know, the people is typically the hardest part of managing and growing a business. You've got processes, which, if you don't have them, they can be readily found and can be created. You've got platforms. If you need a new platform, guess what? Easy to find the platforms that you need. And there's lots of industry experts that can guide you and a lot of vendors that can take you down that road. And it's people and then product. So the people part is the challenging part. And in many cases, what I find is, business owners and managers and leaders in organizations sometimes do not prepare their staff effectively for success. They'll hire somebody, there's a job role posted, and they'll onboard them in a day or two and set up their email and teach them on the systems and things like that. And pretty much kind of hope for the best, So, they expect excellence. But remember, we talked a few 5-minute roundups ago about how we project our own capabilities and perceptions onto others, and we expect them to behave like we do. Well, guess what? No one has the experience and expertise and school of hard knocks and all of that we have, each of us as individuals. So how can we possibly expect someone to behave the way we would? So we expect teams to perform in a certain way, but we have to make certain that we are preparing them for success and onboarding them properly and training them properly and checking in with them more often than not. A 1-year performance review is too long to wait. I like quarterly performance reviews, checking in with staff, letting them know where they stand, giving them course correction along the way. And then when you reset the expectation of what their performance should be, then make sure you have a way to measure it. So that's the inspect part of the conversation. And, if we're doing all those things right, we'll have a happy, healthy team of high performers that really enjoy what they do and know that they're being coached and mentored for success.
Anyone who's ever worked for anyone else knows that there's nothing more frustrating than not knowing what the expectations for you or your job are, with the possible exception of not knowing how you're doing against those expectations. So, it's like a 2-piece equation that you're talking about there, and one is having a clear set of expectations and communicating those to the people who work for you, and the other is monitoring performance against those expectations and communicating it to those folks so that they know how they're doing, and not just once a year.
Well said, Rich. Well said.
Well, thank you, sir, which allows me to move on to what I really want to talk about here, because we're in the holiday season and everybody is looking for that gift, that special gift for that special someone in their life, and I think I've got it. It's a winner here. So are you familiar with a product that's been out in the market for a little while called the Big Mouth Billy Bass?
Just recently, as I'm on every spam list on the planet, Rich.
Well, the Big Mouth Billy Bass, it looks a lot like, if you went out and you caught yourself a nice big fish and you had it mounted on a plaque or something like that and hung it on the wall, it would look a lot like this. But this particular product, it kind of moves and it sings and it's animatronic, and it's a lot of fun that way. And, it has been since it was invented. But the folks responsible for that product have figured out the only thing better than the original Big Mouth Billy Bass is a Big Mouth Billy Bass that interacts with your Alexa device and will actually move and speak, move its little fish lips, so that it's basically talking for Alexa. And I'm just telling you, if there's a blank spot on your Christmas shopping list right now, that I have just filled it for you.
I can't agree more, Rich. I mean, they finally figured out the one missing component of the Billy Bass, mystique is integration with Amazon Alexa. And, it only leads me to fear, the next evolution. I'm talking Skynet, Rich. I'm talking Skynet. So,
right.
Right there.
Yeah. We are all going to be enslaved to Big Mouth Billy Bass someday.
Monitored by Billy Bass, and they'll be reporting up to Skynet. I know it.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us. That is all the time we've got for this week's episode of the ChannelPro 5-Minute Roundup. We will be back next week with another episode. If you want to keep up with future episodes, take a look at some of the past ones you may have missed before. The best and easiest way to do that is to subscribe to the ChannelPro Network channel on YouTube, and you'll get all the information you need. You want to learn more about Eric and his consulting organization and the great stuff that they do with MSPs and other IT providers. All the information you need is available at www.ericsimpson.com. That's ERICK Simpson.com. For great news and information about the SMB technology market and business growth strategies for MSPs and VARs, ChannelProNetwork.com is the place that you want to be. So come on back next week. Join us for another episode of the 5-Minute Roundup. Until then, enjoy the rest of your week. Eric and I are enjoying the rest of your week already.